of the big issues ahead of this June 2nd primary in California, just like it is around the country, is the cost of living. With us now, CNN chief data analyst Harry Enten. We talk about gas prices every day here. Another big jump overnight to this multi-year high. We talk about the national average in California. Woo, even bigger.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I mean, just take a look at the price of gasoline for a gallon of gas. The national average right now is $4.48, but you think that's bad. Go out to the left coast. Top in the United States, $6.13. There's even a gas station out there where the cost is about $10 per gallon. And of course, if you've ever been out there, you always know that the prices in California for a gallon of gas are just simply put absolutely outrageous, running well ahead of the national average. The folks in California really getting hurt by this increase in gas prices.
Part of the reason for that is they have a higher gas tax, right?
That's exactly right. One of the big reasons why you see this big difference right here is, in fact, the gas tax out in California. And our partners at USA Facts help provide this data for us. Take a look here, the state gas tax and fees per gallon. You know, in the average state, it's 33 cents. California, again, the top in the nation, more than double that. It's 71 cents. Now, Johnny B., the quick math here is what, a difference of 38 cents?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one to do in your head, but yes, 38.
Yes, it's 38. I know, it's very, very difficult. My math lessons, you're trying to work this morning. 38 cents. You know, a decade ago, the difference here was just 11 cents. So what you're essentially seeing here is that Californians are feeling the pain more and more over the last decade when it goes to the gas pump, because one of the big reasons why is the state gas tax and fees per gallon have been climbing ever higher.
How do voters there feel about this?
Okay, so you see this 38-cent difference here. You see this, what is this, nearly $2 difference here. And not much of a surprise here. California standards for energy and gas, not worth the added gas costs. Look at this. Among all voters, 57% say it's not worth it. Among independents, it's 61%. It's going to be very interesting to see if there's a question tonight when it comes to those gas costs, because Californians are clearly feeling the pain, and many of them at this point say, you know what, it's just simply put not worth it.
They're going to be talking tons about the cost of living tonight. I can almost guarantee it, but it'll be interesting to see where they place the blame. On California, on the Gavin Newsom regime, or on President Trump. I think it will depend on which party they are in.
Yeah, I think it might just be John.
Harold Enten, thank you very much for that.
The price of gas surging this morning, according to AAA. The national average price for a gallon of gas is now $4.48. That's up 30 cents in just 1 week. Let's go live right now to CNN business and politics correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich. Vanessa, will we see $5 gas by June?
That is what some analysts are projecting, Wolf. But the national average, as you said, jumping 30 cents in just the last week alone. $4.48 is the national average. Look at that, a week ago, $4.18, and a month ago, $4.11. We are up about 40% in terms of gas prices from a year ago, and we're up 50% since the start of the war. Some analysts believe if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed for the next month, we could see prices jump to $4.75. But there are some analysts, Wolf, that are projecting that we could see $5 a gallon gas if the Strait remains closed for another month. Now, if you compare sort of what we've been talking about, the last time we saw $5 gas was in 2022 when the war with Russia and Ukraine broke out. If you look at this line chart, looking at 2022, you can see that essentially the same timeline. February is when the war started. You had gas prices climbing. And then you saw by June of 2022, that is when we saw that $5.02 a gallon gas. That is the last record that we've seen. Here in 2026, we are on a similar trajectory, Wolf. Some differences. Gas prices started higher in 2022, and we were coming off the pandemic. But this is a much more severe global energy shock to the entire global system. And that is why we are seeing prices rising so quickly. And as long as we see oil, Wolf, trading above $100 a gallon, many analysts do believe we are on our way to $5 and breaking that $5.02 record that we set in 2022, Wolf.
I just want to be precise. $4.48 is the national average for a gallon of gas, regular gasoline here in the United States. But in some places, it's a lot more. Like California, for example, it's $6 a gallon or even more, right?
That's right. And we're seeing higher gas prices on the West Coast, the East Coast, and in the Midwest because there's been some refinery disruptions in the Midwest, and that has pushed prices up there. As you mentioned, $4.48, the national average across the entire United States. But we know Americans on the coast and in the Midwest are being pinched even more by those higher prices, Wolf.
Yeah, it's getting up there. All right, Vanessa Yurkevich reporting for us. Vanessa, thank you very, very much.
The roller coaster with the world's oil and gas markets continues. Oil prices have been, down, falling slightly this morning, but still have been above and are $100 a barrel. The U.S. began helping guide ships through the strait just yesterday. Some reports of ships making it. There have been some reports of some ships making it through, but shipping data still shows there is no major increase in traffic, which means what for the future of it all? Matt Egan's here with us now. Matt, what are you watching right now?
Well, Kate, look, another day, another 4-year high for gas prices, right? A gallon of regular now selling for $4.48. This is the highest level since July of 2022. It's exactly $1.50 above where gas was selling just before the war started. Now, not nearly as high yet as that all-time Biden-era record of $5 a gallon. But yes, some analysts do fear that we could get there if the Strait of Hormuz does not reopen soon. And keep in mind that during the president's first term in office, gas prices were never above $3 a gallon. Now, well above $4 a gallon. And some states are seeing especially big price hikes just in the past month, right? $1.09 more expensive in Ohio, nearly $1 more expensive in Michigan, Indiana as well. This is all in just the past month. I mean, you could go a whole year without seeing price hikes like that. And these states are seeing it in the past month. And Gas Buddy estimates that just since March 1st, Americans are spending $24 billion more on gasoline. Now, some of that is seasonal, right? People drive more as the weather warms up. But most of it is the fact that prices have just gone up so dramatically. Now, the good news, relatively speaking, is, as you noted, oil futures, they have cooled off a little bit, right? Down 2% on the day. I think there's some relief that the ceasefire overnight has appeared to hold up. There were some real concerns about whether or not that was going to happen. But look, $104 oil, I mean, that is not cheap. Before the war started, we're looking at $65 oil. So this is just dramatically more expensive. You can see the trend. These are oil prices so far this year. This is big spike when the war started. And the CEO of Chevron, he was out warning that this situation with the Strait of Hormuz, that this could be potentially as big as the energy shocks back in the 1970s when there was fuel rationing and long lines at gas stations. And he said that these shock absorbers in the system, right, inventories, emergency stockpiles, they're shrinking. And he warned that eventually we could start to see physical shortages. So look, the clock here is ticking to try to get this situation resolved.
Absolutely is, that's for sure. Let's take a look at that number right now. It's good to see you, Matt. Thank you so much. Kate.